What's going on, everybody? We are live for tonight's webinar. We're really excited because we are releasing a brand new feature. I have the team behind me. They've been working hard on this for the past few months to really make sure that this turned out really well. We finally got out the door, and because of that, we are very excited for that. Thank you guys very much for joining. By the end of this webinar, you guys are going to know all of the best ways to find suppliers, okay? So gone are the days of having to look around all over Alibaba or global sources or whatever else to find these top quality suppliers. I'm going to show you guys the new way of doing this. It's very, very exciting. And you're also going to want to make sure to stay till the end because we'll be announcing the winner of our $1,000 prize, and we'll be giving away some AirPods. With that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's dig right into this. All right, after Jungle Scout really made easy finding new products and finding new opportunities on Amazon, after talking with a whole bunch of you guys, what I'm hearing is the next biggest pain point is really finding these high quality factories and suppliers to make your products for you, right? So do any of these things sound familiar to you guys? Let me know in the chat box, because these are things that I'm hearing oftentimes from you. Like, hey, the sample looks nice, but will the production run be of that high of quality? Because like, okay, any factory can make like one nice unit, but can they do a whole production run of them? I don't know. People are oftentimes very scared if this factory is going to run off with your money. They don't have a good way to be vetting these factories to make sure they are of high quality. And oftentimes people ask like, okay, is this a trade company or is this a factory? I don't know for sure. And I'll show you guys how you can find that out for sure without having to rely on the factory. And there's just all kinds of just common concerns, and rightfully so, before you send someone a whole bunch of money. But it's like, are they lying to me? Can I be truthful? And the other big thing we're hearing now is because of the trade war, or the possible trade war going on right now. It's like people are always looking for factories outside of China, and resources like Alibaba make that pretty hard to do because they're primarily Chinese factories. So I'm going to be showing you guys how you can find some of these high quality factories in a lot of these other places, and it's super exciting. Before we get started, who am I? I'm the founder and CEO of Jungle Scout. I used to be a civil engineer and I hated it. My whole life, I've had a strong entrepreneurial spirit, and the corporate world just wasn't for me. I really wanted to have my own business. So I was able to replace my income as an engineer selling on Amazon. My wife and I then went on to actually sell all of our stuff, start traveling around the world and running this business as we were traveling around the world. And ultimately, my Amazon business is what led me to create Jungle Scout. As an Amazon seller, I had a whole bunch of pain points that weren't being met. So I decided to solve my own problems, scratch my own itch by creating this software. And we're continuing to solve problems for Amazon sellers today. And I still have my Amazon business, and it really kind of keeps me in the know of what's going on. And ultimately, it's a lot of fun. So we released this to a few beta users at the beginning of last week, and we also demoed it to a few people at the Amazon conference called the Prosper Show. And the response we've been getting has been just amazing. I took a few screenshots because it's really fun to read these. Brian said that he found out that he was his supplier's biggest customer. Damon said hands down the coolest thing he saw at the Prosper Show. And these just kind of just go on and on. But Adam, let's see, dug up several more factories. Ian said, turns out my largest competitor and I are actually both using the same factory. I'm gonna have to do something about that. It's pretty interesting intel. These popped into my Instagram direct messages today. Dan said, absolutely insane tool. I'm mind blown to the fact that I can see all my suppliers, top customers, their total shipments, a background check. And Tatiana had some really nice things to say about the tool as well. So it was amazing to hear all this really positive feedback from our early beta testers and early users. And I think you guys are gonna kind of find the same thing from it. So, all right, I think we all understand that finding suppliers is tough. And you're probably thinking like, okay, but what are you doing? Replacing Alibaba, replacing global sources, replacing trade shows? How does all this work? Let me explain to you, because this is pretty cool and very innovative type stuff. What we've done is we've collected all of the customs data that we've like from the government. Okay, so let me explain better. When you import something from overseas into the US, you have to file some paperwork, right, with the government. And actually, through the Freedom of Information Act, we're able to get access to some of this, or actually all of it. So with that, we know the details of all these shipments coming into the US. Okay, so anytime someone, whether it's an individual or a company, is importing goods into the US from any other country around the world, they have to file this paperwork, and we've gotten access to this data. And this is really cool. And what I've realized is this is how Walmart and Target and Home Depot and all these big companies, this is the data that they're using to find their factories, okay? They're like, Home Depot doesn't go on, say Alibaba to find one of their factories. They're using this customs data, and it's because it's the best way to find these really high quality photos. And historically, this has been very cost prohibitive. And this is the reason that only these big companies are doing it, is because to get this data from the government, it costs tens of thousands of dollars. And then after that, you still have hundreds of millions of rows of data. And it's really, really difficult to sort through and organize without using a tool like what we've ended up building. So when I first bought all this data, all right, I spent tens of thousands of dollars on it. And quite frankly, it was a mess. It was just messy data. It needed to be clean. My searches weren't working. It just didn't work. And I was literally about to give up. I was discouraged because I was confident this was kind of like be the future of it. And then after our engineering team had been worked really hard on it, literally for months at this point, we were able to come up with a way to make this data very usable and very valuable. And it comes down to the way that we're organizing and sorting and able to search through the data and some other cool stuff that I'm going to show you in a minute, okay? So after doing this, now the results we're getting from it are really fantastic. So I'm very happy I didn't give up. When you see the product today, it's hard to think that we almost gave up building this, because it's turned out really amazing. So why would you use this data, or how do you go about using this data? It's like, okay, Greg, this sounds cool. All the big companies are using it. The early reviews and testimonials have been phenomenal, but how is this beneficial to me? And my favorite way to use this is to find either my competitors or the top rated products on Amazon and find out who their factories are, okay? So what you can do with this data is, since the import data includes the person or the company importing the goods, what we can do is we can actually figure out what factories these different businesses are getting their goods from, okay? So before, I ordered one sample from a factory. It seemed to be of high quality. I wasn't quite sure if they could do a whole production run of that quality or not. But now, instead of doing that, I can just go on Amazon, I can find the one that gets really good reviews, and I can then go on to find that factory, because I know they can produce high quality products. So once I figured that out, I think that alone was just a real game changer for me. If you've already found a supplier, or you find them through another resource, like one of the online marketplaces or the trade shows or whatever else, this is still extremely valuable for vetting these factories, okay? You can see things like, who are their customers? Who else are they selling to? Are these big legitimate companies, or someone else that gets bad reviews or whatever else? Then you can check, okay, how quality are these products? My favorite way to do this, like I just said, is to read the reviews on the listings, okay? You can see how often and for how long have they imported goods into the US, okay? So the larger, more legitimate factories, they're gonna be sending stuff to the US, at least a few times a year, maybe monthly, maybe multiple shipments per month. And then you can also see, okay, how long have they been importing into the US? Have they only been sending goods for the past couple months? If so, this is a brand new factory, a little bit harder probably to trust right off the bat, or do they have this long history of importing goods to well-known companies? So it's an excellent way to vet these factories, all right? So yeah, that's a fabulous way to do it. And another way that I really like using this for is to see what types of products this factory typically manufactures. Okay, so when you're talking to these salespeople, it seems like they'll tell you about anything to get you to purchase their goods. Like, oh yeah, we specialize in hooded baby towels and blah, 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 highest quality, this, that, and the other thing. They're salespeople, right? They're trying to make this sale to you. So instead you can see, okay, I know this is one of the products they sell. They've been importing for the past 4 years. What other types of products do they make? So if we use the example of baby towels, if they make baby towels as well as bath towels and as well as like other types of linens, then like that's a factory that specializes in that type of good, right? But if this is someone that sells marshmallow sticks and baby towels and electronics, is like, all right, something funny is going on here, or they're a trade company, and as a result, you're probably not getting as good of a price. And then one of the things that, I originally wasn't using it as much for, but I've seen a lot of our early beta users and testers use it for, is actually finding factories in a specific country. So if your particular product has high tariffs, either coming from China or even from another country, it doesn't matter. What you can do is you can remove factories from those countries, and you can find other high quality suppliers from other countries where there's no additional taxes or tariffs on those goods. So as you can imagine, this is all really valuable stuff. So what I want to do is I want to, in a second, give you a demo here, and I want to walk you through kind of like 4 different scenarios here. One, we'll just be searching by a product and see who's making that product, who often imports that type of product. Then what we can do is we can find some other companies and see who their suppliers are. Then we can go on and we'll go to, say, Alibaba or one of the marketplaces or online places. We'll find a factory, and I'll show you guys how you can vet those factories using this tool. And then lastly, I'll show you how to find a factory that's outside of China or outside of an area that has high tariffs, all right? So this is very, very exciting stuff. And you should now be able to see my screen, all right? So the first thing we'll do here is, if you have Jungle Scout right now, or if you choose to purchase it after seeing this, after you log in addition to all of the normal Jungle Scout functionality, like the find products and like the keywords, you'll now have a new section in the nav structure here that says supplier database, okay? So when you search on that, what you can do is I'll go in here and let's just do a search for, let's say, backpacks. All right, and what this is doing is this is searching through the bill of lading descriptions to see who's been importing backpacks, okay? Or I should say, what factories have been making backpacks and importing them into the US, all right? So this first one right here, they have 42 shipments, or let me back up one sec. I realize you guys aren't familiar with this view. What I'm looking at on this view is each one of these cards represents one factory or supplier. And these are some of the pieces of information about this respective factory, okay? So since 2015, they've imported 42 shipments into the US. They have one customer. This is the customer, Phoenix Outdoor. I'm not familiar with them. And then we can see kind of like a little bit of a breakdown of the different types of products that they've been importing, okay? So I could scroll down. I can see like, okay, it looks like, wow, actually every week they've been importing another shipment of backpacks. I guess this is like a pretty big company. So let me scroll down. This next one right here, Vision Vina Corp. Actually, right away, something that caught my eye is some of their top customers are pretty big companies. Like this company, Osprey, they're like they're a very large backpack manufacturer. I also see Kavu, which I know is like an outdoor brand. Actually, this one right here, this is Lululemon. This is like a large athletic wear company in the US. Michael Kors, Oakley, North Face, Duluth, okay, Marmot. So it's pretty crazy. Like all of these, even LL Bean, all of these are all like huge brands, right? Huge brands inside of the US, and they're actually all using this same factory This factory is in Vietnam. All these huge brands are using the same factory in Vietnam to make their backpacks for them, right? So it's like, could you trust this factory? It's like, yeah, I think it'd be pretty easy to trust this factory. All these big brands are using them. They're obviously probably like a very high-end backpack manufacturer, right? Or we know they can produce really high-end backpacks. This factory is probably huge too, because like they're doing 10, 20, 30 shipments every single month. So this would be like a very reputable factory. So this is one way that it's like super cool to use it. You know, it's like you can just make a search for the type of product and you can go through, you can look at the different factories, the products that they commonly manufacture, and a lot of their top customers. So that's one cool way to use it, all right? Let me jump over here and actually... Well, actually, let me show you this way, okay? So let's go back to, or let's go over here to the next one. It says company, all right? And what we're trying to do here is we need a search for the legal entity that imports the goods into the US, okay? So when you're looking at your competitors, you know, what we're trying to do is on these government documents that we have access to the data, they put their legal entity name on here, right? So this is what we need to be searching for. So for example, here at Jungle Scout, you know, the name of our company is Jungle Scout, but the name of our legal entity is JS Operating Company. So I'm just gonna type that in real quick, JS Operating Company. All right. And the top result right here, you'll see this is JS Operating Company. This is actually our address right here in Austin. And we just recently formed this particular legal entity. So there's only about a year's worth of data. But right here, you can see, you know, a lot of you guys are probably familiar that we sell hooded baby towels or bamboo sticks. And these are actually our factories. So right here, bamboo hooded towel. This is actually the factory in China that makes our hooded baby towels. This one right here, bamboo sticks. These are actually our bamboo marshmallow sticks that some of you are familiar with. We call them our jungle sticks. So once you have the name of a legal entity, you can type it in here and it will show you who their factories are, okay? Now, let's use an example right here of like, okay, if we were to look on Amazon for a type of product, how do we go about finding their legal entity and ultimately what products they're importing into the US, all right? So since we're talking about marshmallow sticks, let's go ahead and just type that in. So marshmallow sticks. I know that, let's see, these are our jungle sticks right here. If you guys aren't familiar, this is like one of our early case study products that's super cool, are our jungle sticks. They still sell like crazy. But let's see. All right, so this guy on top of me, right, Malo Me, he's one of my biggest competitors. His product gets rated really well. 4.8 out of 5 stars. That's 2,000 reviews. This thing's been selling like crazy. I've been following this for a long time. Well, let's hop in here and look at it real quick, okay? So the name of this brand is Malo Me, all right? Now, what I need, like, ultimately, I would know the name of their legal entity. One easy way is to just Google it. Like, let's just hop on here and Google and just do Google Me. And oftentimes, like, you can kind of scroll down into, say, their the footer or wherever else and find the name of their legal entity. But let me show you something else that's actually super cool, okay? What we've done is Jungle Scout has a different way that we can go about finding these, okay? So like right here, I'm searching for this and it says, sorry, we couldn't find anything available. What you can do is you can look to see if they've registered a trademark before, okay? So I can do Malo Me trademark. I can just Google search that, and I can see if I can find the name of their legal entity that they've been importing under, all right? So I'm doing this demo live, but I bet I can probably find this one. Let's see, Malo Me. I'm just looking in here for the name of their legal entity. Let me go back and just look at one more time. All right, let's see here. All right, so this is it. Current trademark owner, party name, Truthful Trading. All right. So what I can do is I can go back into company. I can do Truthful Trading. And right here, now I've found Truthful Trading. I can expand that. And, you know, when I look at this product on Amazon, right? These are like these little fork looking things. So I think this is actually it, okay? Barbecue forks. So it's pretty cool. So I've gone in here, I've found this listing, or, you know, like this legal entity, and I now know who their supplier is, okay? So this is the name of their supplier right here. And I could go on and if I decide I wanted to sell these particular like barbecue forks, I could contact them and do the same thing, all right? Let's try another search real quick. Another example. Let's do baby towels. All right, sure, one of my past purchases. This one sells like crazy. It's like always been kind of like the best seller. So we can go in and click on it real quick. I even purchased this when I was doing my Jungle Snugs market research. And let's do two things, okay? One, let's just search for Hudson Baby inside of our database and see what pops up. Okay, so something right here actually really cool just happened. So Hudson Baby did not show up in the search results, right? There's not a name of, or there's not a legal entity name named this. But something that's super cool is I'm seeing this little tooltip, okay? And it's saying Hudson Baby is a brand and likely owned by Baby Vision Inc. So what I can do then is I can click on Baby Vision Inc. And there we go. Now I see Baby Vision Inc. Let me expand it and make sure it's the right one. And it looks like it, because if I scroll through here right now, what I can see is cotton burp cloths. Let's see what else we have in here. All kinds of things, right? All kinds of baby socks. Yes, all types of stuff. So these are the different shipments that this company, Baby Vision Inc. is using. And what I could do is I could read through all these different shipment descriptions and find out who they're purchasing these hooded baby towels from and end up using that factory. So super cool thing. And it's really cool that our engineers have been able to reverse engineer figuring out who owns different brands. So let's see what other kinds of examples we can do on here. So just to give you an example here again real quickly, Jungle Snugs is what I just typed in, okay? So Jungle Snugs, again, those are our hooded baby towels. I'll show them to you on Amazon real quickly. Jungle Snugs. So we go on here. We can look, so this is one of our other case study products. You know, it's called Jungle Snugs. And what's cool is I just typed that in Jungle Snugs, and the system was actually smart enough to realize, hey, it looks like Jungle Snugs is actually a brand, and this brand is probably owned by this company. And it's right, JS Operating Company. That's actually, like I mentioned earlier, that's the name of like our legal entity. So super cool stuff right here. All right, let's see what the next example that I wanted to give you guys. I told you, let's see, that I was gonna do by, oh yeah, the next one I was gonna do was on Alibaba, all right? So, you know, we found suppliers by just searching for the product. I showed you guys how to find who the suppliers are of your competition. Now, the other really good way to use this, right, is by the other really good way for using this is for vetting your factories, right? So I'm over here on Alibaba. So it complements Alibaba really nicely. I'm just gonna click over here on suppliers. And then what I can do is I can just copy and paste these supplier names into the Jungle Scout product. So let's go back. Let's go to supplier. I'm gonna enter them in right there. And it's gonna search through and find me that supplier, all right? So here they are, Yiwu, don't know how to pronounce that for sure, textile company. So, you know, even if I've found this factory on Alibaba, they claim, let's dig in here real quickly. What happens is they claim these different things about essentially how much trade they do, et cetera, et cetera. They tell you different things. You can go look through all of that, okay? So these are the different things that they claim, but the problem I found on Alibaba is it's kind of just submitted into Alibaba, or it's like self-identified by the factories. Whereas with our data, instead of just being self-identified, we can actually see their real trade history into the US, okay? So this particular factory, they've had 13 shipments since 2015. They're doing, you know, a few shipments per year. So that's, you know, I'd say that they've done enough. Let me scroll down. They've done enough imports into the U.S. that it seems like they could be trustworthy. You know, their first import was June 2016, so they've been around for a few years. And then what's also cool is I could see what was inside of each of these shipments, right? So I see towel, baby towel, 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 baby towel. So this is obviously a factory that kind of like specializes in making towels or baby towels, which is super cool stuff. Let's go ahead and try out one more from Alibaba just to give you guys another example. I'm going to go inside of the Jungle Scout web app, type that one in. And there they are. So this company has had 29 shipments since 2015. They have 16 different customers. Actually, this is Channing and Yates. Actually, if you go back and look at my Amazon list, oh, there they are right there. That's actually this company right here, like Channing and Yates. So it's interesting, you know, the second supplier there on Alibaba is actually who's supplying to this factory, to this Amazon seller. And of course, the coolest part about this is I can just log right in here. I can see what kind of reviews they're getting, 4.7 out of 5. So that's a pretty high quality factory, right? They've been shipping about 1 shipment a month or every other month into the US. Some months have had 2 or 3. And then I can also start to look at some of the reviews for some of these products. So super cool, all right? So after you've gone through here and you found different factories that you like, you know, you can do it through the product search like I showed you, or do it through the company search, which is my favorite way, or by just vetting other factories that you're finding. What you can do is you can save these suppliers. So not only is this a database for you to search through and find these different suppliers, especially these really high quality suppliers, but now you can also treat this as a way to organize your communications and organize your factories, okay? So all I have to do right here is I'm just gonna click over here to say save supplier, create new group. Let's call this one baby towel. I'm gonna create it. And now this one's been added to that, okay? So let's actually go back in here. Let's just search by product now, just so we can get a few more. I'm just gonna type baby towel in here. And what I can do is I can look through these to see who else is of high quality. It looks like this company right here, I'm guessing is a trading company because they have a whole bunch of shipments, but it's all different types of stuff. Like there's even, like meat, different food, mechanical appliances, pharmaceutical products. So that's probably like some kind of trade company. Let's look at this one. Whereas this one, they probably specialize in baby towels, right? I'm seeing baby towel, cotton towel, all these different types of things. So this one for me as an Amazon seller selling these towels would probably be a better bet. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And I'm just gonna add that right in there to my baby towel category. Let's just find one more just for fun. Let's see who else we have here. This one's fine just for our demo purposes. Cool. What I can, it's notify me right here. It's saved into baby towels. What I can do is I can hop over here, jump into baby towel. And this is cool because now I can start seeing all these different saved factories I have, right? I can add in their contact info, and coming pretty soon is ways to add in like different nodes in your communications and all these different things with your factory. So super cool stuff. If you can't tell, we're very, very excited about this here at Jungle Scout. Just when you look through this, is like, man, the olden days of just having to contact, it felt like hundreds of factories on these online marketplaces like Alibaba and wherever else. It's like, man, finally kind of like gone are those days. Instead, I can like quickly vet these factories, see who the good factories are, see who else are using these, and it just makes it so much easier. So let me jump back into this. So let me ask you guys this, like after I go through, going through this and demoing it and seeing the power of it, especially being able to see who these top quality products are using for their factories, is like, man, what is this worth to, like, I'm trying to think like, holy smokes, this is worth so much to me. And let me just ask you a few questions as a little bit of a thought experiment here. It's like, doing a production run, right, costs thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. It's very expensive. Once you decide to like order a full production run, like, hey, I'll take 1,000 units or 2,000 units or whatever, we're talking about a lot of money here, right? And like, how much is it worth to you to know that these factories are of high quality, right? If nothing else, just to sleep easy at night, but it's actually way more than that. There's way more that goes into it than that. Getting bad reviews on Amazon is really detrimental to your listing. It's difficult because then your sales go down. When your sales go down, you don't rank as well. And it can be like a little bit of this downward spiral, right? So like bad reviews are very costly on Amazon, right? They can be it can be kind of like detrimental, like to your listing. And then I've also just seen with like a lot of new entrepreneurs, like sometimes it's even kind of like detrimental to like their entrepreneurial spirit or like their confidence in themselves to really be able to succeed. So that's one thing to think about, like and also just think like, okay, if I'm ordering like a big production run, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 units, what if you could find a little bit better factory? Maybe it's in a country that's a little bit cheaper. And what if you could save like $1 a unit or $2 a unit? Now, all of a sudden, when you're ordering thousands of units, you're literally saving thousands of dollars, right? Not only that, but just like being able to vet a factory to make sure they're legit. It doesn't happen often, but a few times a year, you hear these horror stories about essentially these people posing to be factories when they're not, and sending them your money and them kind of like running off with it. So this is just like such a good way to find a quality factory that offers their goods at a good price or the most competitive price, and it really helps you vet them very well so that you can ultimately get a good product and then also sleep easy at night. Just today, actually, in my Facebook Messenger messages, someone who I gave early access to this because I was demoing it to them at that Prosper show I was talking about. His name was Brian. He actually just messaged me on Facebook a few hours ago that saying one other thing that he found from it is he was able to see that he was the biggest supplier the biggest purchaser of his supplier. So he was his supplier's top customer. And actually, once he realized that, he's like, wow, now I have a lot more negotiating power than what I realized. They kind of made me feel like I was like a little bit of a small fish in a big pond. But after looking at this, like I'm their best customer in the US. I import the most. They've had this relationship with me for a longer time. And he said he was able to kind of like use that as ammunition to actually negotiate better rates. So now he's getting to save a bunch of money on it, which is super cool as well. And it's just really nice, like knowing, like kind of having that leverage and kind of knowing, right? Like, wow, I'm this factory's biggest customer. Like, they would be pretty upset if you went somewhere else. And now that it's probably easier to find suppliers, it's, and how big you are to your supplier, it's much easier for kind of like leverage there, right? So what, I think probably what we're getting at here, like after I think about this stuff is like this data to me this information and this usability really, to me, at least as an Amazon seller, is worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And, even if like I wasn't running, I was thinking about this this morning in the shower, even if I wasn't running Jungle Scout and I was just an Amazon seller, I'd actually, now that I've kind of like cracked the code about having to figure out how to organize and clean and sort this so that it's very usable and easy to sort through. Actually, just for my own business, even if we weren't like to sell this at Jungle Scout, literally would be worth the tens of thousands of dollars that it's like cost us to do so. So it's pretty cool. So with that being said, we're not charging tens of thousands of dollars for this. We're actually including this with all of our Jungle Scout plans. So if you're a user of our web application, so not the Chrome extension, all right, the web application, if you're a user of it, you actually get access to this immediately, okay? So we just put the finishing touches on this. If you log in, you'll either have access right now or very shortly after this. We're trying to launch it kind of concurrently with this webinar. So you get access to it. If you're already a Jungle Scout user, go use it and enjoy it and find an incredible supplier and let me know, like in the chat, in the messages, about how amazing this has worked for you. If you don't have access to the Jungle Scout yet, you can actually get access to this feature, the Find Suppliers feature. So this is the supplier database and the Mine Suppliers in all of our pricing plans. So the $39, $69, $99 a month plan, you actually get access to this with all the plans. And that's not the only thing either. You still get access to our product tracker and our product database and the niche hunter and the keyword scout and the saved lists and the listing optimizer. So now you get all that plus the supplier database, plus the My Supplier. So like it's really turning into kind of like a no-brainer purchase, I think, for anyone who is serious about their Amazon career, or it is, it's like, it seems like at this point, it'd almost be kind of like reckless to like start a relationship with the factory, at least without at least kind of like vetting them with this first. So right now we're making this available to all of our plans. That being said, all of our early beta testers did tell us we were absolutely crazy for doing this. They were like, dude, why would you make this available to everyone? Why would you do it at that price point? So it's like for now, we want to make this available to everyone, okay? So like right now, we're not charging any extra money for it. That being said, there is, I'd say, a pretty decent chance that we do start either selling this like separately, kind of like a la carte or some other way in the future, because this alone is so valuable. But if you do already have Jungle Scout, or if you do purchase right now, you will be grandfathered in. We never like change that after the fact. So if you're considering it, if you get access now, then you'll make sure that you always have access to this feature and that you don't have to pay any like additional price for it later. So you can just go to Jungle Scout and just purchase any of our web app plans. If you want more details about this feature, you will drop this link that's being shown on the webinar right now into the chat box, junglescout.com/features/supplier-database. I know it's kind of long. We're dropping it in the chat box. Don't worry, you can click it there. So you can go click it there, and you can learn more about it. You can purchase it on that page, or just head over to Jungle Scout and you can just purchase through kind of like the normal route there. All right, so very exciting stuff. I can't see the chat box right now because I didn't want it to distract me during the middle of this, but I imagine we're getting kind of lots of nice comments about this, and I'm about ready to take some questions from this. But before we do, I want to announce the winner. So we ran this competition on Instagram. We were all super, super excited about this launch. So we're giving away $1,000 and 2 sets of AirPods. So the first AirPod winner is Ninan Brannon, and the second winner of the AirPods is Amelia versus Amazon. And our grand prize winner is Rob Lowman. So thank you guys very much. We'll be in touch through Instagram direct messages. Thanks to the thousands of people who entered this. Much appreciated for everyone. I also want to give a quick shout out to Tatiana Burri and Dan Voss for being partners in the contest. They partnered up with us with this contest. So that was really exciting. So thank you guys very much. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to check out our Instagram, because we're releasing lots of actionable, high quality content there very often. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and take a few questions? All right. Dan said, mind blown. When you can, it's worth it, man. Keep it up. Let's see. Very interesting feature. Thank you. Great job. Congrats, winners. Let me know. You guys can probably see that the chat box is in the live feed right now. William Latta says, War Eagle. We went to school together, and I went to Auburn University, and our basketball team is doing really well right now. We're in this Sweet 16 game on Friday against UNC. So that should be a good game. How often is the data updated? We import the new data once monthly when we get the previous month's data from kind of like the government organization. So in like a week, we'll have updated it so it includes kind of March's data. Real good, perfect addition to an already perfect service to Amazon sellers. Thank you very much, Paul. He also said, is there any way to disguise your legal entity? You could probably try to figure out a way to make shell companies or something like that to disguise it, but I'm not really familiar with that. Another comment on YouTube just says, fantastic. Sebastian says, I think this feature is going to change the way It scrolled by too fast. Change the way FBA or something else. Let's see. When's Keyword Scout available for India? I'm not quite sure. Hopefully sometime in the next few months, but I'm not sure. Marcy on Facebook says, so you get this with any web app plan of Jungle Scout? Yes. All of our web app plans, this is included for no additional cost. So I know we're a little bit crazy, but yes, that is how it works. Let's see. Cool stuff, man. I'm in. I'm upgrading to the web app. Does Helium 10 do with what Jungle Scout does? Helium 10 doesn't have any of these features or functionality that we just released as far as like all the supplier database stuff. So no other tool in this Amazon space has this functionality. So to answer your question, no, they don't. We're the only ones with this. Is the CIA gonna catch you? Thankfully, everything we do here at Amazon, at Jungle Scout, is white hat, and we're not breaking any laws. So I'm not too worried about the CIA. Or maybe you're talking about the CIA is going to catch other people on other shipments. I don't know for sure. Will the UK be done in the future at all, please? Paul Hill asked this. Okay, so that's a great question about just international, just kind of internationalization in general. You know, this is all of the import records into the US, right? So we don't have like import records, let's say like into the EU or into other places. That being said, almost, you know, the vast majority of companies that are selling in other regions of the world are also selling in the US. That means they're probably also importing into the US. And something else to remember is like, you know, probably like any kind of quality, reputable factory that you're going to find kind of like on the internet in general is also going to have been importing into the US. So even though we don't have the import records, let's say into the UK, like you asked, or other regions, this is still data that's very useful for everyone to use all around the world. Let's see. Can Chrome extension alone be enough to use all of Jungle Scout features? The Chrome extension kind of has a different set of features. So the Chrome extension is really valuable to use on the Amazon Marketplace. You can run it there. It does a great job of doing so. But just the way, kind of due to technical limitations, you know, we won't ever make like this functionality available into the Chrome extension. It's just kind of not real possible. So for this functionality, you have to get it inside of the web application, but the Chrome extension has a great feature set in itself. Farshid said, I've been following you for 3 years. Thanks. Let's see. Oh man, these are going by quickly. Will you make it for the UK and Europe? I just kind of answered that one. Is this only for Alibaba or AliExpress also for drop shipping? So this is, you can think of this can be thought of totally separate from any online marketplace like Alibaba or Global Sources or whatever else. You know, you can use this to vet factories, but it doesn't matter where you find them. You can find them at trade shows or one of these online places like Alibaba or whatever else. It works for any factory importing goods into the US. So it's not kind of like reliant on any of those. Derek says, you can make lists in the web app and save keywords. It's amazing. Thanks. Let's see. All Peace and Justice asked essentially about our Chrome extension accuracy. We'll drop a link in the chat box right now, but we actually, it was actually at the end of last year, we did this really in-depth case study that I encourage all of you guys to read, where we got access to, I think it was about 50 different Amazon sellers accounts. I think we had access to about 1,000 ASINs, and we ran the Jungle Scout tool in our top 7 or 8 competitors, okay? And we record our whole screen so no one can argue against this data. We put it in a spreadsheet. We give you the data so you can do your own analysis if you want. And Jungle Scout was significantly more accurate than any other tool on the market, okay? So it was even 30% more accurate than the second best tool, okay? And I actually encourage all of you guys to go read the case study, because the ones at the bottom were pretty scary. You're kind of, I would say like you're better off flipping a coin than using kind of like these worser tools, all right? Or if you're just looking for it, I think you can just Google search like Jungle Scout AccuSales case study results or something like that. That should get it to show up on Google. Dan said, I can't wait to talk to everyone about this. I can't wait until you talk to everyone about this. It's very exciting. Will you make a phone app? Sometime in the future, we'd love to make a native phone application, but I'm not quite sure when that is. Does this work for name brands? Ken, yes, if you remember kind of like the example I put in there, let's see, I used the example, I think like Jungle Steaks or Jungle Snugs or whatever else, and it was actually smart enough to identify that that was our legal entity, JS Operating Company, that owned that brand. So yes, these are all brands. And if you think about it, like private label brands are brands too. It doesn't necessarily discriminate against large brands versus smaller brands. This is like kind of all brands in general. Advamark Media said, I agree, the Jungle Scout Chrome extension is out of this world. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're loving it. Let's see. Sir, we love your smile. Thank you very much. That was nice. Let's see. All right, whenever you search a brand name in the database and it displays, it looks like this brand is owned by this. How's the data connected? We get that data from kind of like a number of different sources, and our engineers have found out really cool ways to figure out kind of like how these different legal entities are, what legal entities are owning these name brands. Okay, so it's not just a Google search. We're getting the data for some other places as well. James says, I like the Chrome extension. Great. Let's see. Does the web app tell us how much the main keyword as well as the ad spend will cost us? Yes, actually, the web app does. So, a lot of you guys are familiar with Jungle Scout for all of our product research functionality, but Jungle Scout is also an excellent keyword research tool. It gives you tons of pieces of data like the exact match search, broad match search, as well as the estimated bid for the headline search ads, as well as the PPC search ads, both exact match and broad match. So it's a very robust keyword tool in addition to all this other stuff we're talking about. Can you produce, that one slid by, I think it said like, can you produce I think like some piece of content of like best practices around using this tool? Absolutely. You can expect lots of content coming out from Jungle Scout in the near future about using this tool. We just launched it today, so this is all very brand new, but we'll be sure to release some content around that. And then when you use the tool, when you log in, you'll already see that we already have some onboarding and training videos to help you guys use it. So, Jungle Scout is the epitome of over-delivering. You guys rock. Thank you very much, Brenda. Very nice thing to say. Is seeing one shipment per month normal? Good question. I wouldn't say there's any like normal amount. Very large factories are going to probably do like 100 plus shipments per year. Smaller factories would probably do between 2 to 5 per year. So, even if a factory is only doing, let's say like 3, 4, 5 per year, I would still trust that factory. They're probably just a little bit smaller factory, but the benefit of that is those people are more likely to work with smaller sellers. Now one example we found, that backpack company that was doing all those huge brands, they're probably super high quality, can make it inexpensively, but they'd probably have higher minimum order quantities. So some people might not be able to work with them. Veronica says, so exciting. I agree. This is super exciting. Will you ever create a program that is like Merchant Words? Jacob, we have a program like it and it's better. Just because a few people have been asking about this, I have to show it to you. If we log in here real quick and look at Keyword Scout, let's just search for something really quickly. I'm just going to search for marshmallow sticks. So, you guys were asking about a program like Merchant Words or a keyword research tool. All of our customers are telling you this is better than them, or like better than anything else they've found on the market. And these are people who are comparing lots of different tools, and this is the feedback that they're giving us. So you get to see all these different keywords. You get to see search volumes, both exact match and broad match. We recommend how many units you'd have to give away to rank well for that. You get to see recommendations for headline search ad, or the estimated bid for headline search ad bids, exact match PPC bids, broad match PPC bids. So there's tons of information from here. You can also do reverse ASIN lookups. You can search for search terms. You can build listings, and we help you optimize your listings with it. So, and again, this is all included inside of the Jungle Scout web app. So this, what I just demoed to you guys, the supplier database, you get all this Keyword Scout tool and everything else included with it as well. Extremely cool tool. What's the URL link again to review the features again? Let me pull that back up real quick to make sure that you guys have access to it. So you can find it right here, junglescout.com. Sorry, we should have done a link shortener on this. junglescout.com/features/supplier-database. Of course, you can also just Google search supplier database or go to our website and find it through there. So we have some more information about this there. And again, this is included with all of our plans that you see right here. So even the $39 a month plan, you get the supplier database included with this. All right. So very exciting, and we'll try to drop this link in the chat box every minute or so. I know there's a lot of different messages coming in through the chat box. All right. Do these suppliers only deal with thousands of products, or will some deal with a few hundred to start? Some will deal with a few hundred to start. And you can actually go in there and find factories that don't do as many shipments. They're probably a little bit smaller and more likely to accept these smaller orders. Can you do a video to look, I think it said, what red flags look like when working with suppliers? Yeah, absolutely. We're going to create a whole bunch of content around this. Will this video be accessible? Yes, we'll have a replay available on YouTube. It says there was an HS code. Is that the harmonized tariff schedule code? Yes, that is. That's what an HS code is. And for any of those of you who are not familiar with an HS code, the main purpose of it, I would say, is so that the government knows what class of goods you have so they can tax it accordingly. And this is like a globalized standard code for that. Is there any way to sort by traders or manufacturers? Chris Gonza asked this. Not right now. However, we'd like to build that functionality in the near future. For now, you can kind of just look at the little donut graph that they have, see the different types of products that they're manufacturing, or look at the bills of lading and kind of decide that way. We're in the very beginning stages. When do you suggest someone gets this tool? James, the Jungle Scout web app, it was initially built for people in the very beginning stages who were looking for their first product, okay? So it has a very robust feature set of finding good products and opportunities on Amazon, all right? That's kind of like, it was like the core of our business, and now we've expanded into all these other areas. So now we have these things like the keyword research tool. We have the supplier database like I just showed you guys, and you get access to all of this. So to answer your question, if you're just getting started, I think the time's now, because we also will help you find the product. Let's see. Jungle Scout is the blessings for Amazon seller. I'm glad you love it. It makes me happy. Charles said, I just checked in the app and it's in there. Woohoo! Just released, hot off the press. We're even putting the finishing touches on it today. So that's awesome. Charles said, I just bought the web app. Awesome. I hope you enjoy it, Charles. That's amazing. Let's see. What about the manufacturer agreement that you guys mentioned in $1 Million Case Study? Do you think that the manufacturers will follow the agreement? Yes, I do. And Akbar, the coming very soon, actually, into Jungle Scout is actually going to be a way to help you guys contact and communicate with these factories. We're going to include things like that agreement, okay? So not only will you be able to find these factories and these high-end suppliers, but now you'll also be able to organize your communications with them, and we'll help you communicate with them to make sure that you're finding these good factories and getting at the best price. Is this tool primarily for the US audience, or can it be used in the UK? No, this tool is for Amazon sellers worldwide, okay? And the reason that I say that is even though we only have US import data, you're using this data to find good suppliers and vet good suppliers and see what suppliers the high quality listings on Amazon use, okay? And they're using suppliers from all around the globe. So, even if you just want to sell in the UK or the EU or India or wherever else, you can still use this data to help you find these really high quality suppliers because it's the same suppliers, right? There's only so many suppliers all around the world, like you even saw it from that backpack example, but all these big brands are actually using the same factory, right? So it doesn't matter if you want to sell in the UK or wherever else, you can find these high-end factories, and then ship your goods to anywhere in the world. Will Jungle Scout start including other marketplaces like Walmart, Jet, Wayfair, etc.? It's not on our near-term roadmap. I've looked into a lot of these marketplaces a lot, and just to be honest, none of them excite me. Like Amazon is where it's at. It's just crazy how much Amazon is growing so fast, and they just have such a large portion of online e-commerce. The last statistic I saw, I forget where this was at, was like 60% of online e-commerce transactions now happen on Amazon, and the next biggest is like 6 or 5% or something like that on eBay. So it's like Amazon's where it's at. Oftentimes Amazon sellers want to diversify to these other platforms, and then what happens is like, all right, I'm getting 1,000 sales per month on Amazon and like 4 on all the other marketplaces combined. So it's like, all right, we're just going to focus on Amazon. That's where it's at. That's the most exciting place to be right now. Dan said, I just found Patagonia supplier. That's amazing. Let's see. If I sign up for the trial with the JS web app, would I have the database suppliers too? With the Jungle Scout web app, we don't have a free trial period. So, anyone who signs up for the product gets access to all of our feature set. If there's something wrong with it or whatever else, you can always email us because we do have a money back guarantee policy, but we don't have a certain kind of free trial period. William said, what features are coming under the launch section shown on your dashboard? Oh man, I actually didn't realize we had that up. That was, you weren't supposed to see that. All right, well, the cat's out of the bag now. Coming soon, we're going to be helping you guys do your launches on Amazon as well. Stay tuned for that. I don't want to answer too many questions around there, but I think it's just as exciting as the supplier database that we released tonight. And it's not too far away, so stay tuned, all right? This is the best thing since sliced bread I've purchased. All right, that's amazing. Let's see. What's the next e-commerce conference you guys recommend? I have 2 conferences that I'm going to in the next couple of months. The first one is hosted by Steve Chu. My wife quit her job. It's called Seller Summit. The next one I'm going to is hosted by the guys at amazing.com. It's called SellerCon. It's in Las Vegas. So those are the next 2 that I and the Jungle Scout team will be at, and we hope to see you guys there. Last week, I earned 55,000 Indian rupees by using the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. Congratulations, that's amazing. I don't know the conversion rate between Indian rupees to US dollars, but hey, it sounds like a lot, and congratulations. Thank you, this is perfect. We just started looking for suppliers for our product. Awesome, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So the supplier I was working with right now hasn't had a shipment since 2017. Should I be worried, or how do you think I can leverage this? First of all, I'm glad that you got into this supplier database and you've already been able to find your supplier. That's amazing. What I would probably do is I would kind of look at probably their history before that, Just because they haven't sent a shipment since 2017, I wouldn't say it's like an automatic, I wouldn't automatically rule them out, but I would probably proceed with a little bit more caution. Let's see. Thanks, Greg. James says $797. I think that's the conversion to Indian rupees. That's amazing to earn in 1 week. Let's see. Any idea when the Jungle Scout app will be available for the Australian market? I don't want to commit to any dates. I know that it's on our roadmap and it's important to us to be able to support all Amazon marketplaces all around the world, but unfortunately, I don't have a date for you right now. I'm sorry. How do you find suppliers by country? Oh my gosh, I forgot to show you that. But it's easy to do. Let me just show you something real quick in here. Let's just do our little backpack example again. And I'm just gonna slide over to this. All you have to do right here inside of their filters, you can drop down. You can see all the different countries that are available for your search. And all you want to do is say, for example, hey, I don't want to purchase from China, right? All you'd have to do is just uncheck that, make the search again, and it would give you all of the factories for that search that are not in China. So super easy to do. All you do is you just make the search and you filter by what countries you do or do not want to purchase from. We're running out of time here. We're almost at the top of the hour, but there's still tons of questions coming in, so I'll answer a few more, and then we'll wrap it up. And don't worry, there's going to be tons of more content around the supplier database coming soon. Does the database only display information for consumer goods? No. The database actually has all of the data for all imports into the US. So it's actually pretty fun to just sort and search around inside of there, because what you see is that there's all different types of very interesting shipments that you can really use this data for all different types of things, but we'll stay focused on the Amazon stuff right now, but no, it's for everything. Alpha says, thank you, Greg. You changed my life with these tools. That's amazing. I'm really happy to hear that. I'll see you in Las Vegas at SellerCon. Sweet. I'll see you there. Make sure you come up and say hi. James says, thanks for what you do. Paul says, is the value of the shipment included in the data? Is the HS code information included? Yes, the HS code information is included. We don't have the value of the shipment, but it does have the quantity of the shipment and the weight of the shipment. So you can get a general idea of the size of the shipment. Let's see. Can suppliers be saved too so I can find it later again? Yes, you can save your suppliers into the My Suppliers section. And then again, that's where you can keep their contact information and other notes you have about them right inside of there and keep it well organized with that. Found a Lockheed Martin import from the UK. Cool. Is there a JS tool to analyze CSV sheets from wholesale suppliers? No, unfortunately not right now. Thank you for everything. Hope to see you guys in Vegas. I hope to see you there as well. When are you doing a case study next? I don't know. Maybe later this year. Guys, I think that will wrap it up for tonight. I have to stop sometime or else we'll probably go on for hours and hours and hours. And I still have to get back to work. I've been really busy on this that I still have a few things I have to tie up tonight. So if you do want this, just a quick reminder, you can find out more information you can purchase right here, junglescouts.com/features/supplier-database. Get all the information you need there, or just head over to our website and check it out there. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to this webinar. I've had a lot of fun. I appreciate you staying all the way to the end. It's been a real blast. Good luck on finding that next fabulous supplier, and I will see you guys.